All right, game designer. So the last time you were with me, we got this far. We were able to get bombs that would generate in our room, and they would avoid generating in the left and the top of our room. And by using a little crafty math, we were able to keep them from generating on the right side and the bottom. But now I have a problem where I may have bombs that spawn on top of each other, and I don't want that. So in Gamemaker, there's one line that you can use. In Godot, we have to be a little bit more involved, but not too much. In order to show you this, I'm going to leave this project, and I'm going to create a new project. So new project, I want it to be on my flash drive in case I want to use this again. I don't want it to be part of my second game, so I'm going to move up and select that so it's on my D drive, and we'll call this test game just for now. Test game. Create folder, and I'm ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a very simple array, and this is going to be extremely simple. So 2D scene. No 2D is all I need, because really what I only want to pay attention to is what's in the output. So output right now is nothing, obviously. So I'm going to add a script, and I'm going to create an array. We'll call it array. Doesn't have to be all caps. You can call it whatever you want. And I'm going to put some random values into it. So, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to search that array in the ready function to see if it exists. So I'm going to say array. Actually, in order to get a value back, I'm going to create is it there as the name of my variable, and it's going to give me whatever the return is of find, and I'm going to say I want to find the 4. Okay, now if you remember, computers like to count starting at 0. So position 0 in my array is the 4. This would be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So is it there will tell me what position in this array that 4 is in. Now it should give me a 0 if I say print, is it there? So it's going to take whatever this value is that Godot returned and see what happens here. So I'm going to run the game. I do have to save it first. So file, save scene as, node 2D is fine. And then of course it's going to ask me to define a main scene, and that's the only one we have. So that's the one we're going to go with. And you can see down here in my output, I get a 0. Now let's find the 2. Now in this case, that's going to be 0, 1, 2. So it should report that 2 is at position 2, and you see that. Let me add some other values, 100, 45, and let's see, there's no 1. So now the 2 will be in a new position, and we'll see what we get. So now it's in position 5. Let's see if that's right. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, here's where we can actually use our array to decide if a position is taken or not. And so I'm going to search for a value that doesn't exist. I'm going to look for a 6, and there's no 6 in this array. So I'm just making sure I'm recording, so I'm not just talking to myself like some sort of crazed lunatic. And what happens if we look for a value that's not there? We get a -1. And so we're going to use that fact that if a position is not in the array, it's going to give us a -1. And if we don't get a -1, then what we're going to do is refine a new position. So I'm going to go back, quit the project list. And those of you at home probably only have one other project there. So we're going to go into that and back into my game code. Now I do have some notes here because I've tried to record this video a few times, and it still gets a little dicey for me, even though I've been using Godot for quite a while. So here's our code. Create a bomb instance, give it a new position. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to see if that position exists in our array. If it does, then what we're going to do is re-look for a new position, and we're going to use a loop to continue to do that Because if we just did an if statement, if this position's not available, it would check once. I want it to continue to find a new position until it can find one that doesn't exist in the array. To do that, I'm going to use a while loop. And I'm going to say while looking in this array, we can't find new bomb position dot x and new bomb position dot y. And this actually, this will have to be a vector 2 because that's how it writes it in there. So vector 2. So while you're looking for a vector 2 with these two values, if it's does not return a -1. So this means if you look and you get anything other than a -1, now we're going to want to do this stuff. And what this stuff is simply repeating this over and over. So I'm going to Control C and Control V and make sure that's tabbed correctly. It is going to continue to try to find a position and check to see if that position is available. Now let me look and figure out why I'm getting an error. So new position X, new bomb position dot Y, not equal to -1. I'm not sure why that is. Let's see, new bomb. So this should be a dot position, not a underscore. So just with this one line, it's going to check the array. And if we get anything other than a -1, it's going to continue to look and search for a new place. Now, to prove that this is happening, I am going to add a print statement, and that's finding new spot. So every time it re-looks for a new position, it's going to print that out for us. And I'm going to get rid of printing the array. We just know, I've already shown you that it does add that value to an array. So let's, now at first, there's going to be so much room in the room, it might take us a while for it to actually have to do this. But we should get a new bomb every second that is not overlapping simply by saying, check the array. And if you get anything other than a -1, so this exclamation, just like Gamemaker, means not, then re-find a position and keep re-finding a position until you do get a -1. So -1 again means can't be found. So if it returns a 3, well, then that value already exists in position 3 of the array, just like I was just showing you. So let's see how long it takes for us to actually need to search for a new position. So it might take quite a while, especially in the beginning when there is so much room. But right there, you can see that it had to find a new spot. And if it found a spot that was already occupied, then it would continue to do this and print. In fact, to speed this up and show you that there is a potential for the same game-breaking problem that Gamemaker has, I'm actually going to change the value of timer. Instead of 1, I'm going to set it to 0.1. So that's 1/10 of a second, and that should fill the room up pretty quick. So you can see it's having to, the more it fills, the more it's refinding a spot. But every alarm or timer, it does create something new. But you can see now we've reached the same issue that we could have with any program in a while loop. When you get to a place where it can no longer escape, it does cause your game to hang, and then you have to sort of do the hard stop. And you can see what happened down here is that it was continually trying to find a new spot so fast it couldn't even print it fast enough. So that's something that we'll have to address. So for example, we might say export variable so that we can change this on the fly. Bomb max bomb count, and we can say, well, we only want to put 100 in, and so then we can say here, we only want the timer, we only want this to go if max count is less, or sorry, yeah, if max count. Oh, we have, no, we'll just add, okay, so we're gonna do bomb count, start that at 0. Every time we run this, bomb count will be adding 1, so plus equals 1. And then if bomb count is less than max bomb count, then we'll do all this stuff. Otherwise, else, we'll turn the timer off. So we'll say timer stop. And that way, if I run the game, now, once we get to 100 bombs, it'll stop generating bombs and our game will no longer get to that place where it hangs and can no longer play. Unless we can, okay, so it stopped at 100 and you can see that it doesn't break our game. So that's how to use an array to check, to sort of control our position and make sure that we don't have any overlapping. We also made sure that our game doesn't stop and hang. And then that's pretty much going to do it for this video. My next video, what we're going to do is we're going to actually add a particle effect to our bomb, excuse me, which is pretty fun. And that's coming up next. Thanks for watching.